Hello all, Tech Enthusiastic here. In this video, we will solve another LeetCode problem, number 63, unique paths 2. This is a minor variation of unique paths 1, that problem. So I will add the link of this video into the description if you want to take a look at that video at the beginning. So the main difference between the previous unique path LeetCode problem and unique paths LeetCode problem is that in this 2D grid there would be some obstacles which would be represented by 1. That means if there is any 1, there might be some pothole or some dangerous cell, then the robot cannot reach. So the main idea of this problem that the robot is in 0, 0 location of a 2D grid and it wants to reach to the right most and at the down this cell. So if we consider m row and n column, then it wants to reach m-1 and n-1. What are the different ways it can reach to that cell? And only consideration is that if there is any obstacle in the path, then actually it cannot cross that cell. So let's do some minor corner case adjustment. So if our this obstacle grid if this obstacle grid is null, then there is no way actually we can find the result, so we'll return just 0. Other than that, actually we want to find out number of rows, so that will be length, and number of columns, that we can go from 0th length. Okay. Now we want to check two things. If the start point in the obstacle grid, that means the 0, 0 location where the robot is located, if this is 1, or the last location, the destination, that means m-1, n-1, if this value is 1, that means there is no way this robot can reach that location, so we will return 0 in this case also. And one more check is that actually if there is only one row and one column and there is no obstacle, because if it is any obstacles, then actually it will return from the value from there, and then we will return 1. We will use another 2D array grid which will store all the different ways how we can reach the destination. So it will be m rows and n columns. And how do you want to update those grid values? So at the beginning, I want to update all the values of the first column to be 1, because there is only one way it can reach unless there is an obstacle. So what we want to do here, if int j equal 1, it start with the column 1, and if it can find, if it finds any obstacle, that means in the zeroth row and zth column, then what we want to do, we want to update all the grid values as 0. So 0 and then j plus plus. If it is not the case, then what we want to do actually create 0j as 1. So let me explain actually what we are trying to do here. The main idea is that, so if we have think about there are m is 3 and n is maybe 3. So at the beginning we have all the rows are 0 0 0 in our grid. So for example, there is obstacle here, and also there might be an obstacle here. So what I'm trying to do actually here, j1 to n, we want to check is there any 0th row and jth column has a 1. So whenever we are considering in this for loop, we are only considering the first row. And in the first row, we are checking that if this guy 0 and 1, if this guy has a 1 in the actual obstacle grid, then we want to update all the values as zeros. We don't want to change it. And if that is not the case, then actually we will update it as 1. And now we will consider the values in first column. That would be so basically this will be the same as these things, but we'll consider the first column. That means our ith row and always the 0th column, and until I is less than m, what you want to do I plus plus, and these will be always 0. Otherwise what we want to do for all the location I and 0, we want to put it as 1. Now we will start the first location. First location would be 0 and 0. So what do we have? So if there is an obstacle, then actually the grid will be 0 and 0. But if there is an obstacle here in the right side, then this value will be 1 and the right side value will be 0 only. So this is actually the grid looks like. Grid items. Now what we want to do, we want to start from the same algorithm we can use. We will start from the 1 location, and just for each of the element we want to update the values, and we will check the left side cell and also the top cell. You just add those two values. So to do that, we'll do nothing but ij, update the ij value. We will check the left cell, that means ij minus 1, and the top cell. And finally we will return the grid value of m minus 1, n minus 1. Yeah, so let's see if there is any error in the LeetCode. So it seems like if it is all 0 and then it's not working for this case. So maybe we did something wrong. Grid ij, we want to return ij minus 1, the left cell, and I minus 1j. That looks correct here. And then for these input 0 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 0, right? So in that case we know actually there is an obstacle here. Okay, and there is no obstacle here, and then there is no obstacle here. So only thing we are missing actually, if there is an obstacle in this cell, then we don't want to update these values. So whenever we are updating this check, we need to verify that if this grid ij, or actually the obstacle grid, if the location we are trying to check, if this location is 1, that means actually we cannot reach this cell. So what we want to do in this case, our grid value will be 0 because we can't reach the cell. I think it's accepted. So let's go ahead and submit this code. Yeah, it's accepted. So it's a little bit tricky actually to update this in for loop. So if you have any questions about why we are doing these things, you can reach out to me. Feel free to like and share the video, and if you have any other questions you can comment below. We'll try to solve some other few problems related to this 2D graph in the few later videos. So feel free to subscribe to my channel to get the latest update. Until then, bye.